Well, that's good. This is the Overseas Press Club of America. I mean, you guys are on the front lines. What is your sense of we got George here, the press coverage that you've read, and you're sitting there scrolling the internet, reading New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, FT. What are you thinking? What's your critique on what the reporters are doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to just come back to circle around to something Andrii raised earlier about the sort of the lack of attention that Ukraine is getting. I'm not super fussed about that because I think it's normal. These things ebb and flow. The reasons for the direct, the intense interest in Ukraine at that time and getting on the front pages, I wouldn't want to be a part of that again. With the rockets coming into Kyiv and threats of invasion and things like that. I think that the ebb will pick up once the counteroffensives start. Once there are significant newsworthy things to report on. I mean, stalemates aren't fun and they get boring after a while. And you look at bombed out building after bombed out building after a certain point in time. Unfortunately, I suspect that Western audiences get desensitized. So it's just the society we live in. But we'll make it interesting for people again. I'm sure. I think the reporting overall, Jim, to your question, has been. I mean, I think reporters have gotten an education. I mean, they can now find Ukraine on a map of Ukraine, and know a little bit more about their history. They know that Ukrainians are not Russians. They know that Russia, in fact, didn't exist until Peter turned it into an empire. It was Muscovy before that, and these are all important These are all important things, and it changes perspective in people's minds. There are some good reports, there are some bad reports, but I think overall, I've been pretty pleased.
Well, as I was,
if you allow me very shortly, because I think that's important. Following to what Daniel is saying, and I think it's important for journalist society and professional society in America to understand. I believe that we won communication war during first 4 months. So, and that's important result. So we were able to deliver our messages. We were able to deliver information. Probably it was the first war which was covered in so many details because of huge amount of digital content, because our military, everyone is with cell phones, with good cameras, a lot of drones which are making a lot of videos. So all this flow on the information which was delivered to the West, I think create a quite positive picture for Ukraine. And I think it creates that wave of pressure from the citizens on the leadership in UK, in France, in Germany, in the United States partially. And this pressure from society, in fact, forced the leaders to act. So that's why I think this part of the war, from communication point of view, was quite successful for Ukraine.
Yeah, and it's really quite amazing. I'm here in New England, and you can drive 5 miles and see 5 Ukrainian flags. The depth and the bipartisan support for Ukraine is quite deep. And you get occasionally cranky people. I was at a luncheon party, and the guy was ranting at me that Zelensky's one of the richest people in the world. And I said, I don't know where you got that, but
RT.
What's that?
RT.
Yeah, right, RT. Andrii, you're from a different political party. What's your assessment of Zelensky, and how is he holding up?
Look, before February 24, there were a lot of questions to his team, first of all, and some of these questions are still valid. But I strongly understand that as soon as we will continue any internal political battles, which is normal, by the way, for any democratic society, we simply will help Putin to win. So that's why I prefer to be constructive, and I definitely agree that communication is extremely important in modern world. And Zelensky is for sure is very good in communication. That's his job. to speak, and he can speak quite good. Maybe not everyone likes how he speaks in Ukrainian, because it's not a secret that originally he is a Russian-speaking guy, but he's a professional actor and he learned very fast. So for the 3 years of his presidency, he speaks absolutely ideal Ukrainian, plus the language which he uses is extremely correct. And I'm sure that all his messages to different parliaments in the world, and I think it's not unprecedented in the history. I don't think that any presidents in the world ever had so many statements and so many remarks to, I think, hundreds of parliaments in the world. And I think it played a very significant role in consolidation of the West, of Western political elite. And from this point, I think he's doing quite a good job. For sure, there are thousands of details here, like in any complex projects, which anyone may criticize. But I want all of us work together, because I have one life, I have one Ukraine, and I want to win this war. So that's why I'm on the same side of barricade with the Ukrainian leadership for the moment.
Good. Yeah, Andrii, as we know, Zelensky's talked to the UN, he's talked to the US Congress, he's talked to the Bundestag, he's even talked to the Portuguese parliament. I mean, he's really covered all the bases, as we say in American English. Do you see that, I guess he's giving sort of a TV fireside chat every night. Is he running out of steam? Is he, obviously he needs a vacation, but you know, the war isn't going to give him a vacation. Is he holding up?
He looks to be in a good shape.
What do you guys think, Andy, Dan?
The guy's stamina is unbelievable, frankly. I mean, he does this every single day. He talks to the Ukrainian people. He gives them a pep talk. He tries to lay it out the way it is. He's very blunt. Clearly, there are things he can't tell us, but I think that there is certainly from everybody I know, there is no complaint about the level of communication from the president. And, I think that they've done a great job in that regard.
Yeah, great. Andy?
Yeah, no, I think he's doing a good job.
Good. We're trying to keep to the mark. We got another couple of minutes. Maybe just quickly go around the robin and see if any final comments to sort of the international press audience of the world. Where Ukraine is going. Andy, you've got your little green light on.
Okay, I didn't turn the green light on, but I'll chat for you. I think it's important. We're looking at it from a Ukrainian perspective, but from a Russian perspective, this whole what we're calling a war is only an operational campaign in a larger strategy. And I think as far as the Russians are concerned, the world and the United States is concerned, at least, it's a massive failure as an operational campaign, which is going to grossly undermine their national strategy. It's shown the Russians to be extremely weak militarily, and it's going to damage them, cripple them economically, ultimately, and alienate them. And the regime, it may bring the regime down ultimately. So I think from that standpoint, the war is, as far as Russia is concerned, the war is lost in that regard. And as far as the United States has won, and it's just a matter of how much Ukraine is going to have to pay for that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And just a quick thing, I mean, if you're the head of procurement for the Indian Army, do you want to buy more of these special pop-top tanks?
You think China's looking, more hungrily at Taiwan right now?
Hopefully not. Dan, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I think that, we need the West to keep the faith. And, I'm asked, how far will Putin go and how long will it take? And I said, it's up to you. And it really is. We've all talked about that. We need to understand we're dealing not with a country who is an aggressor. We're dealing with a terrorist state. And you can't appease terrorists. We need to deal with Putin the way, the United States deal with IDIL ISIS. These people need to be beaten back. They need to be defeated. And all means necessary need to be deployed. And this is why, issues like the gas turbine, it's not about a gas turbine. It's about the fact that first time that Canada has been challenged on its sanctions policy, robust sanctions policy, it issued a waiver. And, I get all the arguments, but I'm really concerned that if this starts, Canada is Ukraine's BFF in all of the major international fora. And God forbid that other countries start chipping away. Putin will be all over it like a dirty shirt. And we will have, and the Ukrainians will pay. We will die, and we will fight. We'll have to fight longer.
Yeah, got it. Andrii?
I definitely sign off everything what Daniel is saying. And that's important for entire West to understand that totalitarian Russian regime was poisoning the entire world democracy and entire world safety and security for decades. Unfortunately, now it's time for everyone to open the eyes and to pay, because during decades, the West was artificially blind. And even if you look back in 1991, we did a lot of mistake. I mean, the democratic West did a lot of mistake, because my theory that Soviet Union did not collapse, because Soviet Union, it was not just the formal unity of 15 republics. No, it was empire, which was artificially divided into like regions, which was called republic. But Soviet Union stayed alive. And because KGB empire stayed alive, everything were in its place. And just the investments from the West, the business from the West, make it possible, to blooming again this fascist regime, which now absolutely identical to everything what was in Soviet Union in 1930s or 1940s. So that's why now we shall play this game till the end. We shall not afraid to imagine the world map without modern Russia. It's absolutely possible. We all here are quite adult gentlemen, and I think everyone remember June, July 1991. No one even was able to imagine then in 6 months, Soviet Union as a group of 15 republics will cease to exist, right? No one thought that it is possible, but it happened. I think Russia is much, much weaker than anyone may think. Yes, they have nukes, that's clear, but Soviet Union also had a nukes. So that's why I think we shall be brave, we shall not be afraid, and we shall play this game till the end.
Very good. Thank you, everybody. Andrii, Andy, and Dan. It's really been useful to our members, and this will be posted on the OPC website. It's been recorded. And Patty, do you want to say some final words? You've researched.
Yes. Well, I would just like to thank you, Jim, for initiating the program and moderating it, and all the panelists. And as you said, we'll have a text recap and links on our website and in the next couple of days. So thanks to all of you for a very interesting program.
Love Ukraine.
Good luck.